three people looking out of a window versus people who were right there on the street who gave a very different opinion.
Right. You know, the traffic investigating officers, this is what they do for a living.
Right.
They get to the truth of the matter.
Right.
They interview all involved parties.
Right.
They look at the damage.
Right.
They see if everything adds up and makes sense.
Right.
And those officers that represent the LAPD that responded to that radio call
right.
that night, that's the decision they made. And I'll tell you, Councilmember, the department supports that decision based on the totality of information available.
Okay, and is that report available for us to look at?
That report is a public document, and so yes, the report would be available to look at.
I would like to look at it, so if your office could get me a copy of it, I would just like to see how you came to that conclusion. I mean, I think we owe that to the people that came up here and are pleading for us to take a look at it. I mean, that's what they wanted, and we said, we will take a look at it. Mm-hmm. And so you've given us a very good description of how you came to that result, but I would like to look at that report as well.
And we will communicate and coordinate with your office in that regard.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Mr. Labange, followed by Mr. Reyes, followed by Mr. Zine.
Thank you. Will there be an opportunity for those who came to Van Nuys City Hall to have a meeting with the police department?
Absolutely. The police department is always willing, Councilmember, to meet with any member of the community.
Okay, so I think we should arrange that, because I guess the one individual who was here, somehow he found out this is being considered, but I think we should do that. Also, on the issue, yesterday I drove 20 miles in the city on the bicycle from Belmont High School, the Good Samaritan, out to Park La Brea and back Wilshire. And I get a feeling how difficult it is to ride a bicycle in the streets of Los Angeles. I did take 4th Street out, which is a bike route, but on the way back I did ride Wilshire to see how horrible the gutter is due to the roadway condition there, which we're going to fix. All that being said, there is a activity of riders that love to ride in the middle of the night, and there's a name for them, and they ride. Are they to stop at red lights?
I'm sorry, is that a question?
Yeah.
Councilmember, I'll be very descriptive. The incident that I described in Wilshire, there were numerous traffic violations, blocking of intersections, going through red lights, blocking private driveways, complete takeover of the streets, all lanes without movement. A bicyclist obligation is a state of the right and move on the roadway consistent with what a vehicle would do, which is what you're talking about when you come to work. When that happens, the department wants to absolutely support, educate, work with, ensure the public safety of that community. When we have hundreds that come to a city street and take it over and impede other motorists' ability to use that street, that's unacceptable to the city, it should be, and certainly to the department.
Certainly I understand that, but I think there's I don't want to say an activity. I would call it a swarm. I saw it on a Friday evening in Silver Lake, where at Sunset and Lucille they just overtook the intersection, and no one was coming east or west on Lucille. They kept going and kind of went around the buses, which makes it, I know one of the concerns of the bus drivers that I met when I was on the MTA board is the overwhelming challenge on the street, the visibility. It becomes a situation. I've led rides. I've coordinated the rides for then Mayor Reardon. In the city, I lead rides in my council district, but we do try to follow the law, at least stay in some side of it. So there's a communication thing. And the biggest thing is missing, and I did this the other day because I was on an issue with the marathon where I did have one side of the equation in a meeting that I was in. Is today we don't have the other side of the equation. Is this going to your committee, Ms. Rule?
This just came directly to this committee. It did not come
Right.
to our committee. We did talk about some of the bicycle issues.
As Vice Chair of Transportation, I'll gladly chair.
It was waived out of
committee
public
meeting.
safety because it was specifically to the public safety. If we'd like to have this also, get a report to our committee, I'd be more than happy to have that as
But
well.
I think there should be some discussion, because I think a lot of people are very passionate on other sides of the issue who feel that they could ride. They're competing with vehicles. The knowledge that's important for all city agencies to know what the laws are, real important. I explained to the person who testified earlier, I support licensing, as I do support licensing for horses, because all the money for horses goes to Equine Fund, where we could build trails throughout the city. The same would be true with bicycle license. But I think that I don't want to use this term, horse has left the barn on that idea, and they're not going to do that anymore. But Michelle, hold my time. Tell me what you could do with the Department of Transportation, and thank you for what you do. And some of the hostilities that were expressed in Van Nuys were somewhat expressed at our employees too, not just the police department, due to the lack of success we've had in transforming our city to a bike city, which they're very passionate about trying to do.
Well, there's a lot of frustration from bicyclists, and they're absolutely right. It's extremely difficult to ride a bike in the city. You all know that I ride to work one day a week, and I ride through the city to be able to do that. Part of my route in is along Santa Fe, pretty high volume in the mornings, pretty high speed, and a lot of cars, and it's very narrow. So what we're working with the Department of Transportation to do, and you'll see the new bicycle plan will have a lot of opportunities for development and changing how we look at things. You know, we're trying to retrofit a city that the last 40, 50, 60 years has been a really car-centric city. So it's not just an issue of changing the design of the roadways. While there is some of that, it's the issue of changing motorist ideals and how they perceive bicyclists and how they treat bicyclists on the roadways. You know, we have riders from 8 to 80. We're trying to design facilities for 8-year-olds to 80-year-olds, but we have an up-and-coming bicycle culture in this city right now who are angry that they don't feel that they can ride the roads safely. And that's some of what's sparking this behavior and some of what's going on. And while we certainly have a lot of law-abiding riders in the city, we certainly have people who blow stoplights and blow signals, and we want those folks to abide and use the roadways properly. The idea is to get more going, get the city more involved, and get an engaged in the bicycling community to be able to do that. We're trying to do that, but right now what has been set up is a dynamic that the city is all evil, not trying to do anything for bicycles. While we do have quite a few things on the table, they are still in the planning and development change, and we are working to change the overall culture within LAPD and within the Department of Transportation to do that.
All right, well, we have a lot of work to do, but also we got to get those who came to Van Nuys to come and meet and discuss and hear their side, and also educate those who work for the city how to interpret it, but also to respect the law on safety. And when you say 8 to 80, it's very true, because maybe as an older person you could ride through an intersection and feel you could beat a car that's coming at you, but an 8-year-old may not be able to beat a car. And I also think statistical information I want to check with the fire department too, and police department on every incident involving a cycle, so that we make sure we build the information that's necessary to make the right decisions. I thank you very much, and I hope this goes to some committee somewhere so we could hear from everybody.
Thank you, Mr. LaBonge. Mr. Reyes.
I want to follow up on that line of thinking. When we had this discussion in Van Nuys, I did put in a motion. We do want to establish, and the motion asserts that public safety, planning, and DOT form a task force with the LAPD, get the planners involved, because we're doing community plans that talk about bike paths. We want to bring in DOT because they're the implementers of these policies, and actually start engaging this discussion. And let's be real blunt. We need to go through a cultural shift in this city. We're an auto-dependent city. Bicyclists are treated as second-class citizens because it's a smaller vehicle, and the bicyclists don't really get noticed. Now, that has to change if we're going to be putting real meat to our verbal gestures in terms of making this policy come true. So I wanted to ask the CLA, if they're here, to come to the table. What's the best mechanism to form? I believe we're supposed to get this back, and is that sitting on DOT? I believe it's in DOT committee?
No. You mean the bicycle master plan?
Right, no. To get the 3 departments together so that we can have this task force engage these bike issues. So we're talking about enforcement. LAPD is trying to do their job of enforcement. The young people want to ride their bikes safely. They want a sense of security and how the physical layout of these bike paths are behaving with these automobiles, and we don't have an answer for them.
Okay.
So to take it to the next level, these committees could form this task force, have these meetings, and really break down this policy so we can implement it.
And Mr. Reyes, it was, just reminding me, thank you, from the police department, that it was scheduled yesterday in our committee, today in our committee meeting, but because of budget, we're not having it today. And so it will be, I think, trying to have a special meeting for that. But originally, your motion would have been on today.
Okay, so that's why I was just a little frustrated.
Yeah, no, I was, yes. No, it was, we had it scheduled. It was just that today. But on the bicycle plan, just so you know, we have asked the planning department, because it's held up in the planning department right now, not in the